If you're able, please rise and sing with us, Spirit-led, Spirit-fed. I'm spirit-led, spirit-fed, everywhere and always I'm spirit-led. I'm spirit-led, spirit-fed, everywhere and always I'm spirit-led. Flowing like a river of peace, I am nature's wandering child. Love cannot be added to me, I am made complete in the divine. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed, everywhere and always I am spirit-led. I am spirit-led, spirit-fed, everywhere and always I am spirit-led. There's magic in every day, like a beautiful song. And as we're choosing our way, there's a voice inside to guide us along. We are spirit-led, spirit-fed, everywhere and always we are spirit-led. We are spirit-led, spirit-fed, everywhere and always we are spirit-led. We are spirit-led, spirit-fed, everywhere and always we are spirit-led. We are spirit-led, spirit-fed, everywhere and always we are spirit-led. Everywhere and always we are spirit-led. Everywhere and always we are spirit-led.
Yeah. Thank you, Chris and Andres, for that. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome, and welcome to our live streaming audience. Is coming to us right from the other side of that camera there. Let's wave to them. Hello. We're glad that you're joining us from Facebook and YouTube. We are in this together. We are in this together, right? We're creating this experience together. So thank you for being willing to open your mind, open your heart, to be present in this moment, and to create this experience together. So sharing the platform with me today is Chris Eagle, who will light the Divine Light candle. And as we do that, just taking a moment and feeling that energy of that fire. And I invite you to say the opening invocation with me, which is in your program, yes, thank you. Thank you. On that welcome sheet, and hopefully for you at home, it's on a slide there so you can see it. But let's just take a moment and breathe into that heart center. Really feeling that energy of love moving through us as we say together, there is only one presence and one power active in the universe and in my life. God, the good omnipotence. So we just breathe in that truth, that energy, that power. We know that we are expressions of it. And in this moment, we anchor ourselves in the awareness of this omnipresent good. And so it is. Oh, you
I surrender. I trust and I know. As I surrender, I fall into the arms of love. I surrender. I fall into the arms of love. I fall into the arms of love.
Feeling that song move us. If you have any device that might want to notify you during this time, I ask you to meditate it so we can meditate. Just allow whatever you are sitting on or resting on to fully support you. Spirit has your back. And if it's comfortable, close your eyes. Just allow yourself to dive into your essence. Just feel your body. Feel the trillions of cells that are working in concert, orchestrating automatically so many things without you even thinking about it. Your breath, your heartbeat, your digestion, your muscles, so many things are working already for you. Follow your breath, that thing that happens thousands of times per day, automatically, bringing in oxygen, releasing carbon dioxide, which is in itself a dance with the plants that exchange the carbon dioxide through photosynthesis, coming back as oxygen. So just feel how things are already set for you. Allow yourself to scan through your body, seeing if there's any little pieces of tension that just need a little invitation to let go. Maybe it's in your jaw, maybe it's in your neck, perhaps your hips, your knees, your ankles. Just allow your breath and the wave that comes with it to simply melt that. And in that, you can feel an enveloping. There is something greater than just your perspective that is also yours to have. So allow yourself to expand into that greater perception, that greater essence of life that is shared with everyone and everything on this planet. Just allow yourself to dive and explore in the silence. from this space, from this enveloping space. If there are any situations, people, places that don't yet feel connected and part of this space, call their names out softly aloud, inviting them in. We include those that are experiencing the fires in the western U.S., for those in Afghanistan that are figuring out what their political situation looks like. We also include anyone that is feeling uncertainty from whatever is coming up in their experience. By holding them, we surround and reinforce the divinity that is them and is around them, so that they can more easily move into this, even if they can't yet see it. So let's bring our bodies back into this space, this enveloped space. And when you're ready, you may want to wiggle fingers and toes. Let the body do what it needs to do. If you need to stretch a little, do it. And also, one of my favorite things is we have all these divine people, these divine beings in this room. So would you make eye contact with at least two of them? You almost can't look anywhere and not see at least three, at least in this room. And if you're live streaming, you got some on the camera, you probably have some in your room. All right. Okay. Would you join me in our vision and mission, which is either on the front of the program or on the order of service, or if you're live streaming, on the screen. So many options. And let's invoke these both together. Our vision: we envision the divine light awakening in all. Mission: we center in peace and love. We connect in our hearts with others. We celebrate our journey towards wholeness, and we empower others to experience their spiritual magnificence. And so it is.
He's on down the road. He's on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be your load. He's on down the road. He's on down the road. He's on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be a load. He's on down the road. Pick your left foot up while your right one's down. Come on, leg, keep moving, don't waste no ground. The road you're walking might be long sometime. Just keep on walking. If you give up, you lose. Come on, he's on down Maybe sometime that you think you lost your mind. Step you're taking might be 3-4 steps behind. The road you're walking might be long sometime. Just keep on stepping and you'll be just fine. Come on, ease on down the road. Ease on down the road. Maybe sometimes that you might. Come on, ease on down the road. Maybe sometime that you wish you wasn't born. Wake one morning just to find your courage gone. Just keep thinking that little while. Just stick with us and we'll teach you how to smile. Come on, ease on down the road. Ease on down the road. Nothing that carry your load. Come on, ease on down the road. Come on, ease on down the road. Come on, ease on down the road. Don't you carry nothing that might be a load. Ease on down the road. Ease on down the road.
Thank you. Ernest Collins. Yay. Thank you. Ah, fabulous. We're easing on into the day today. Yeah. How is everyone? Good. Well, good. We're creating good stuff already. Oh, all right. So I remember when I was a little girl, my favorite story that my parents would read to me over and over was the story about the little engine that could. Do you remember that story, right? I loved it so much. I had to read it, my mom read it and read it and read it over and over. In case you've forgotten, because it was a long time ago, it's a story about a little engine that volunteered to pull this long, heavy train way up, up a steep grade. It was the only one that said, yes, I can. And so as it's huffing and puffing all the way up the mountain, it's saying, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. And then as it gets close to the summit where it's really steep, you think it's gonna not make it. It's slowing way down, but it's still affirming. I think I can, I think I can. And that affirmation is the thing that gets it over the other side where it's saying, I thought I could, I thought I could, I thought I could. Love it, right? This is a book written in 1930. And it's all about the power of affirmation. But you think about it, okay, so the Fillmores were around at that time. New Thought was gaining momentum at that time, and it all had an impact. It all had, it influenced popular culture. I remember my mom would affirm this to me as I was going through the day and I hit an obstacle or, came upon a task that was difficult. She would affirm it with me to kind of make it fun, and so that I wouldn't give up. And so when I had kids, you better believe I got that book out and read it to them and affirmed with them when they were having a difficult day. I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. It's a beautiful, sweet story that really, when you think about it, helps children activate their power of will. That power of will. That's one of our 12 powers that Charles Fillmore, in case you're somewhat new to Unity, Charles Fillmore identified 12 power centers and our energetic centers, kind of access points to specific qualities of our spiritual power. And we all have them. We all have them already. It's just that most people are unaware of them, and so they're not active or they're using them incorrectly, right? But when we become aware of them and learn to use them and align ourselves with the highest divine presence within us, those powers can really become our superpowers. No kidding. So this whole week we've been talking about this power of will. It's our power to decide, to commit to be willing to. And last week we talked about it in terms of the 30-day no plastics pledge that we took, that many of you signed, this 30-day no plastic pledge. We committed to doing something that we feel is for the good of the whole, for the good of humanity, for the good of the planet. And then we commit to doing, seeing it through the full 30 days, even when it gets inconvenient, and it's really getting inconvenient. And then willingness, a willingness to follow divine guidance, to doing what's necessary to accomplish this. And if you haven't signed the 30-day no plastics pledge, I think there's Mary's at the back table. There's a sign-up sheet there that you can sign and join us in this. And we have more information on the website that shares about why this is important and really what you can do. So here's the thing. A lot of people get the power of will confused with willpower, right? And that's understandable. But really, the willpower is more about this thing that you muster when you have set a goal for yourself and it's getting challenging. It usually is accompanied by a lot of tension, a lot of doubt, you feel like you're kind of fighting against your lower instincts. And then eventually, you kind of just get tired of the battle and give in and just give me that piece of chocolate cake anyway. Give it to me. Or you use your willpower to kind of muscle through a goal that you set for yourself that may not be something that actually brings you happiness. May not be something that, is good for others, or good for the planet. So in contrast, the power of will is our power to, again, choose, to commit, to be willing to accomplish a worthy goal that is in alignment with our highest spiritual nature, our higher spiritual self. That's where thy will be done, the biblical thy will be done comes in. Not my will, but thine. So in unity, we don't, thy and thine we're not talking about a God outside of us, a superpower, in heaven somewhere that knows what's best for us, even if it hurts. No, it's this one universal love and wisdom that is within us. And when we connect with that presence, when we really connect and feel that presence, our will merges with thy will. And we engage in this beautiful dance together of human and divine as one. That's kind of what Chris Geith was talking about earlier this month. She was sharing about that. So, referring to the passage in the Lord's Prayer, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, Linda Martella-Whitsitt says in her book, Divine Audacity, she says, in the awareness, and she's talking about the awareness of the highest divine within us, our will is the will, the universal idea of eternal life, infinite love, ever-present wisdom, and all that is good prevailing. Our will is for the universal ideal, heaven, to permeate stuff and substance of our human existence on earth. Our will is for the universal ideal, or heaven, to permeate the stuff and the substance of our human existence on earth. That's the highest prayer, really. Because you're calling forth those eternal truths, those divine qualities to be manifest here in your experience in this three-dimensional realm. That's really the power, that's using the power of will correctly. Now, of course, the power of will in the hands of the ego can be a whole different thing. It can actually translate into somebody being bossy, obstinate, willful, somebody who's not open to any other ideas, opinions, my way or the highway kind of attitude. You probably know people like that. Maybe you even have been that person before, way before in the past. Now, on the opposite end of that spectrum, those with an undeveloped will, that translates into being indecisive, wishy-washy, unable to make a choice. You probably know some of those people too. So, what we want to do is make sure that our will is connected with the highest divine will that is within us, the highest divine wisdom that is within us, and then exercise that will. Work it, exercise it. And when we do that, we can create some really exciting possibilities, new possibilities for us. So another place that people get confused about this power of will is when bad things happen that you can't explain, that seem to come out of nowhere, right? And traditional Christianity, we might say, well, that's God's will. That's God's will, that person was struck by a car and, is now paraplegic for the rest of their lives. COVID is God's will. No. No. There's not a power outside of us, some supernatural being that's sending us tragedies to try us, to challenge our faith, like Job. Because there is no outside power, you see? There's no outside otherness. It is that universal, one love intelligence that holds the entire universe in perfect order and expresses as each of us. Expresses as each of us. So, you may well say, well, why are all these seemingly bad things happening all at once? The climate crisis, COVID, out of control, Haiti, Afghanistan, all of it. Why is that? It's a puzzler. I admit, that's a puzzler. And I think it was Cheryl and I were talking after the service last week, and we were talking about, how everybody kind of has a theory about this. All the spiritual gurus and the astrologers and, the metaphysicians. Everybody's got a theory about why this is. I don't think anybody knows, really. I certainly don't. What I do know is that when humanity is under the influence of the collective unconscious belief in separation, that we're separate from Source, that we're separate from each other, those beliefs begin to show up. Thoughts are creative, right? And collective thought, collective belief is really powerful. Also, as I was talking about last week, when humanity acts from a consciousness of, it's all about me, what's in it for me? All about me. Rather than from a consciousness of, how can I be of service to the whole? How can I be of service to the collective good? You know, that begins to show up as well, right? That shows up. So, you know, Mother Teresa once said, if we have no peace, it is because we have forgotten that we belong to each other. If we have no peace, it's because we've forgotten we've belonged to each other. That's it in a nutshell. That's that, you know, African concept of Ubuntu that we've talked about before, Ubuntu. We belong to each other. We're all one. So it's not God's will. It's the folly of humans or the ignorance or the unawareness, the lack of awareness. That's why I always think that awareness is the key, is the answer. When we all become aware of that we're all one, that we're all connected, we're all in this together, that we're all creative beings. That's such a freeing thing. So, but back to the power of will. Okay, so now the first part of this is decide. How do we know that the goal or the path that, you know, that we're choosing is indeed the highest divine wisdom? How do we know it's coming from that and not the ego? Sometimes it's difficult to tell. So, but discerning that is really important. Before we invest our time and our money and our resources and our time into something, you know, we want to answer that question. So this is where we want to carve out time for ourselves and turn within and connect, listen, you know, get quiet, get still, whatever it is for you that gets you to that place of hearing, being able to hear the inner voice, the divine voice within. Sometimes meditation, sometimes contemplation, journaling, walking the labyrinth. We just so happen to have a pretty fabulous labyrinth out there that's really good for that. You know, chanting, praying, whatever it gets you connected with that. That's what you want to do first. You want to really get to a place where you can hear that divine guidance. And get there first before you commit and, you know, do what's necessary to achieve that, right? So then now the next thing is commitment. I think the most accurate way to describe that, I heard somebody say it this way, that commitment is a single-pointed, open-hearted focus. Wholehearted, that's what it is. Single-pointed, wholehearted focus. Is that good? It's that focus that can carry us through when the going gets challenging. That focus. That kind of commitment. How many of you here used to smoke? I did. And how many times did you try to quit? Yeah, most people try to quit a bunch of times before they make the choice. I'm making the choice. I'm committing to a smoke-free life. That's really what it is. Committing to a smoke-free life. Because you know that is the thing. That is going to allow you to make that permanent change in your life. Really making the decision. The same is true if you've chosen a life of sobriety after, you know, years of whatever, drug, alcohol abuse. It's all about that choice, making that choice, right? That decision, that commitment to living a different life, walking a different path, you know, and you make that choice and there's no going back. There's no negotiating. It's not willpower. It's the power of will in the sense that you are choosing a path that you will not waver from. That single-pointed, wholehearted choice that can open up a brand new life for people. And this is true for any path that we choose, any, really worthy goal that we want to set for ourselves. It's this kind of choice and wholehearted commitment. So then the last thing is willingness, right? So after we have made the choice where we're connected with the highest divine self within us, highest divine wisdom, we've committed that single-pointed, open-hearted, wholehearted focus, right? We want to infuse all of that with willingness. A willingness to be open to divine guidance. A willingness to be open to the flow of life that could be bringing us new gifts. Willingness is kind of an acceptance of what life is bringing us, and to see the opportunity there, to see that opportunity, and to go for it. A willingness to go for it, to do what's necessary. Willingness really, and when we exercise that willingness, it keeps us in the creative flow. That's where we want to be, right? The creative flow. New ideas, we recognize opportunities, we see things that are, we see connections, we see synchronicities. The more we see that, the more we experience it, the more it shows up in our lives. So, when we learn to work with this power of will, we really learn how it works, and we're connected with it. We're connected with that divine guidance within us. We're working this. It can really be a powerful force that can help us create new, wonderful possibilities for us and for the world. Power of will. Will you? Can you? Say, I can. I thought you could. Namaste.
So I'm down, so I'm out, so are many others. So I feel like trying to hide my head neath these covers. Life is like the seasons. After winter comes the spring. So I'll keep this smile a while, see what tomorrow brings. I've been told, I believe, life is meant for living. Even when my money's low, there's still some left for giving. I've been many places, maybe not as many as you. So I think I'll stay a while, see if some dreams come true. There's many things I've learned through all my foolish years, except that life keeps running in cycles. First there's laughter, then there's tears. I'll keep my head up high, although I'm kind of tired. My friend just left last week. Friday I got fired. You may think it's funny, but things can't get much worse. I'll keep on trying to sing. Please ask me, I'll tell you how. There isn't much that I've learned through my foolish years, except that life keeps on running in cycles. First there's laughter, then tears. But I'll keep my head up high, although I'm kind of tired. My friend just left last week. Friday I got fired. You know it's almost funny, but things can't get much worse. I'll keep on trying to sing. Please ask me, I'll tell you how.
Thank you, Ernest and Andre. So now is the point in our service where we share with this community. And this is not through willpower, but through the power of will. It goes much easier for all involved, so I recommend that. But it is really the sharing of love, this essence that is us, through this community out to the world. Your gifts sustain this community so that we can have Sunday services and so many more things. When I get to the announcements, you will have an experience of that. But it is really a sharing of love with humanity. So for those of you that are live streaming, there are options that are probably showing up on the screen. There are many ways to do that, including our sustainer cards if you're here physically, or the cash envelopes. So if you would take your gift, or your representation of your gift, because so many things are digital these days. And really, we're going to infuse this together with our blessing, which is on the order of service if you're physical, or on the screen if you're virtual. And let's say that and feel that together. Together, divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, all that I receive, and all that I am. Let's take it away, Chris.
Happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much love I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. Happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much good I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled. I'm aware of all my blessings, so much peace I can't sit still. I'm happy, I'm joyful, I am fulfilled.
All right, thank you. Thank you for your showing us appreciation and love, because that's what this is. It is love energy in form. So we really appreciate all of it, and we bless it. And if you'd like to join me, just feeling that energy of spirit moving through you, through your heart and out through your hands, as we bless these gifts, knowing that they're here to support us so that we can continue to be here and to grow and to reach others. And this blessing blesses the giver, pressed down, multiplied, and running over with good. Thank you, Spirit, and so it is. Yeah. So thank you for being here. If there's anybody who is here for the first time today, do we have any guests today? Yeah, if you just raise your hand, and Mary will come by with a packet of information and put it in your hand, and there's a card on the outside if you want to fill that out, right over here. And return it to her. There's a free gift for you in that, and thank you for being here. We have some coffee and treats afterwards on the deck, so that's a good opportunity to get to know you a little bit more, for you to get to know us. And if you're joining us on the live stream for the first time, you found us today, welcome to you. Say hello in the comments section, and our wonderful greeter, Mel, will give you a virtual hug and send any information to you about us if you'd like to have that. Thank you for being here. And one more time, Ernest Collins, come on down.
Here's a little song I wrote. Hope you learn it note for note. Don't worry, be happy. In every life we have some trouble. When you worry, you make it double. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Don't worry. Be happy. Ain't got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry. Be happy. Landlord say your rent is late. He may have to litigate, but don't worry. Be happy. Na 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 na. Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no one to make me smile. Don't worry. Be happy. When you worry, your face will frown. That will bring everybody down. But don't worry. Be happy. La da 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 da. La da da da. Well, this little song I wrote, hope you learned it note for note. Be like little children, don't worry. Be happy. Now listen to what I say. In every life, expect some trouble, but don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy.
Thank you, Ernest Collins and Andres Rosales on the drums. So that is an example of Will going right. All right. There are so many things happening with UCP, some of them virtual, some of them in person. We've got this hybrid thing going on. So I'm just going to highlight some of them. Today, after the service, we have living room conversations, which is one of the things that we as a community have embraced as a way to expand how we interact with the world. And part of that is learning and having these conversations. And I'm going to borrow something from what happened a month ago. We had the Becoming Peace. I'm forgetting the book, but the I-thou principle, that we're seeing others as people and actually listening to them and hearing them. This is a great way to do it. It is happening online. You can sign up on our website so you get the link. It's happening at 1:30 today. So we've got that going on. And a lot of this stuff, if you're in person, is in the program, so you can take that along with you, and you're seeing it if you're live streaming. So unity as a movement doesn't have a huge amount of traditions, but there is one that we are really staunch about, which is based in affirmative prayer, which is going to come in a little bit, but we have something called the World Day of Prayer that happens on the second Thursday of every September, which happens to be September 9th this year. And there are all kinds of things. If you go on our website and look at Unity World Day of Prayer, there's all kinds of things. In your program, if you're physical, you have a prayer list, because that is part of the tradition that we have, is that you can put down places, people, or situations on that list, submit it. We have a prayer box at the, sorry, I moved. We have a prayer box in the back of the room. You can put it in there. We also have an online form that you can fill out for that. And what happens is we pray over those. Those also get sent to Silent Unity, which is Unity Worldwide Ministries or Unity headquarters equivalent at the world level. And those get prayed over for 30 days as well. So we're serious about this thing. And we are going to have a service out in the Labyrinth on September 9th from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. So we can be in person, steeped in that energy of the Labyrinth, and really, really have a wonderful time. So I encourage you to put that on your calendar. And speaking of affirmative prayer, you've heard little bits of it in Reverend Victoria's talk, and there's more. Because perhaps when you were growing up, if you had anything with prayer, you probably learned a different form of prayer than what affirmative prayer is. And there are various different definitions, but the key is that you are being you and bringing in those 12 powers that Reverend Victoria was talking about. And so it's really good to practice that. So if you're curious about that, we have an expert in our midst, Reverend Victoria, who is going to be leading an affirmative prayer workshop September 25th and 26th. That's a Saturday, Sunday. There's more details in your program on the screen, and you can find out what those concepts are. There's a particular 5-step process that Unity has, and New Thought in general mirrors. So it's wonderful because it will change your life if you do it. So come find out about that. And you heard about the 30-day no plastic pledge. Big thing that I'm going to say is you can sign up back there, or you can sign up online on our website as well. It's really a way to see how can we be different and be friendlier with our Mother Earth. And you can always, we have all kinds of social stuff that obviously if you're physically sitting here, you can't click on because I am not a screen. But if you're online, you can. I don't know, it didn't work. And finally, to round out the whole affirmative prayer, is we have trained prayer partners that are available after this service in what we call our 3-minute miracle, which is, if you're curious about affirmative prayer and you're not quite sure what this is all about, here's an opportunity. We are blessed to have Karen Rowe in person and Lorraine Lewis online or on phone. Not quite sure what the right term is, but so if you're here, Karen will be out in the foyer, and then you can, Karen, would you raise your hand so people know? Thank you. And she'll be out in the foyer, or if you're online, you can send an email to prayer@unitychapelhill.org and get that experience. So I think I am getting, yes, I made it to the end. Woo. Yay! I was trying not to speed read through all of that. So let us close this. And would you stand up? And we are going to say our prayer of protection, which is on the order of service, if you don't know it, or on the screen if you're streaming. Well, let's really embody this. And this is an affirmative prayer, so pay attention while we do it. So let me just get the start of it. So I get the right one to start. Yes, okay. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, and with all our we. Let me be with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every breath I take, let this be my joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in grace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And so it is.